What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Real Talks Podcast. I'm your host, Jay, and I have my good friend here who's also a Navy veteran, but I let him introduce himself and kind of talk about his background. And essentially, what our goal is today is to ask him questions, why he went through or why he chose the industry that he did as an entrepreneur, and just kind of ask him some, pointers, tips, good and bad, and things like that. But Tobin, what's up, my brother? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Jay. What is going on, man? Always great to see you, brother.
Awesome. Yeah, likewise. And I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us on this podcast. I know, you're running a business and helping clients out. And so, essentially we just want to talk more about, your background, your history, and how you got to where you're at today, man. So, for the people that who doesn't know you yet, could you please introduce yourself and, your essentially your business.
Absolutely, man, and I appreciate the invite. Yeah, so my name is Tobin Short. Just like you said, I'm a Navy veteran as well. And before that, I was doing the thing that they tell you to do, right? Go to school, get good grades, and get a job. That's what I
Right.
did, right?
Yeah.
And I was good at it. Right? I was good academically. I got my degree. Um, Believe it or not, I wanted to
Nice.
become a physical therapist. I studied kinesiology, and I was also a
Wow.
licensed massage therapist while I was
Gotcha.
doing my undergrad because it made sense to do it with
Gotcha.
physical therapy. All right,
Yeah.
so did that, and then along the way, um, I kind of realized, you know what? I don't really want to go to physical therapy school and just have to pay
Mm.
for that for one, right? Where am I going to get the
Yeah.
money for that? Because I just went through my undergrad and I was blessed to have a full ride scholarship. And
Wow, you
then
did?
two, yeah, yeah, right. So
Is it
aside,
through this is before the Navy? I'm sorry. Was it before the Navy where you got your undergrad or
yeah,
after?
yep, before
Gotcha.
the Navy, yep, yeah. So
Got
before
it.
the
Yeah, yeah.
Navy, and yeah, blessed to have gotten that, but it was that how am I what am I gonna pay for it? I don't want to take loans, right? I also paid out of
Right.
pocket for my license in massage therapy too. So
Right.
and then plus the 3 years or more that I'm gonna have to do in school just to come out and get
Yeah.
a regular middle of the road salary as a physical therapist. So what
Right.
did I do
Right.
instead? No, I got recruited by a good friend into the military, into the Navy, right?
Nice.
So yeah, so I was
How
in the
many
nuke
years did you
program,
serve?
8 years. Yep,
Eight
just eight
years.
years,
And
man.
and
I know you.
I did definitely. I did a retirement out of it. 21 years, brother, and
Uh-huh.
it's been great. But you mentioned the nuke program, right? So for you guys that don't know, the nuclear engineering program for the Navy is, I would consider, one of our most prestigious, ratings or career path that anybody could get into. We spend the Navy, the government spends just for your training, Tobin. I think it's for sure
Yeah.
over $100,000 in that
Yep.
that time span that you're getting trained initially. And but yeah, so go
Hmm.
ahead. So you did 8 years. You went nuke. Amazing. You're definitely very smart to get qualified for that program. And the reason I know is because, as you know, I did recruiting for the Navy, and I became the director of recruiting and operations for Navy Recruiting Command. So I led over 250 sailors in my time, and probably around 30 to, I'd say, about 45 different recruiting stations. But
Yeah.
in essence, that's one of the reasons why I did my recruiting agency when I got out. So do what
Yeah.
do something that you have passion in and what you're really good in, and I did both. I had both. So, but yeah. So go ahead and you did nuke, and then 8 years. So what made you decide that, hey, I'm gonna go back into corporate America or do your own thing afterwards?
Yeah. So at that time, I mean, really, the whole journey into entrepreneurship and becoming my own boss started a long
Yeah.
time ago, before even
Wow.
joining the Navy. I always kind
I
of
see.
wanted to do my own thing. Okay, even
Yeah.
as a massage therapist, my goal there was to be able to kind of, and physical therapist, have my own practice, right? Which is
Nice.
still kind of
Okay.
a kind of a goal, right? Because I have a passion for health, fitness, as
Yeah.
well. We'll go a little. I was also a
Yeah.
pro bodybuilder, while I was in the Navy, also. Right.
That's
So,
cool.
um, yeah, yeah. So, I did that, and it's just that, um, I I always wanted to do my own thing. That was it. And I
Yeah.
realized while I'm in the military, it's just I don't want somebody controlling my time. Okay? I
Oh,
did
yep.
even did
Yep.
online training while I was, active duty as well. Right. But, ultimately, coming out the Navy, I landed and found myself, in financial services. Okay? It's like,
So like,
yeah,
yeah, how did you find yourself in that?
yeah. So,
Like, tell us the
um,
story.
shoot, man, it's hard to figure out how to
Long.
start, but yeah, it's, so I've been kind of a money guy since I was a kid, right?
You've always been great
From,
with numbers.
yeah, right. Typical Asian kid, I guess, right? Right, good at math, good with
Not
numbers,
me.
right? So typical.
But go
No,
ahead.
yeah,
Yeah.
man. But I've always liked, money, getting allowance, and even as a kid, asking, the grandparents and aunties, uncles for money, right? Also, I was good with
Yeah.
money, saving and everything. Um, and I slowly learned about it, as I grew older, more and more. Okay, but, the financial services side of it that I really got focused in was, a life insurance, right? And I happened to really
Got it. Yeah.
learn about that just through a magazine, right? And then I started researching
Wow.
more about life insurance, and, outside of SGLI, right, Service Members Group Life Insurance, that we had in
Right.
the military. And I really started learning more about the advantages, the benefits, okay, and how the wealthy use it. Okay, so
Yeah.
getting into that myself, it was just kind of, I like to say, a fateful encounter that I got recruited into financial services,
Got it.
especially considering the fact that I got recruited into the company, um, owned by, the man, the GOAT, Patrick Bet David of Valuetainment,
Yes, sir.
which
Yes,
I
sir.
didn't
Yeah.
know. I didn't know he had a, financial services business, and I followed him for quite some time on Valuetainment. So, to me, it was just like, shoot, I want to be
Really good.
taught. I want to be mentored. I want to learn from him and the people like him and the people that he teaches, okay,
Right.
and mentors, so that, I can achieve what he's able to achieve. So
Yeah.
for me, I was in. Right? It only made sense, right? Um, and before that, I did have a job as I was, accepted. That job I accepted coming out of the Navy, and from there, I kind of just said, you know, um, when I saw that I'm going to be taught by multi high six figure, seven figure earners in this business
Yeah.
who did it without a degree, right? And I mean, none of them are nukes, right? You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad I served my time, right? And, for my experiences, but, and I had a good job lined up, and, we were known to have good job prospects coming out as a nukes out of the Navy. But,
Right.
you
Right.
know, the rest of the time in the Navy wasn't for me, and neither was corporate America. So I said, you know
Mm-hmm.
what? If I want to build this thing faster, and I want to hit my goals and achieve high income like these people are that are doing it and teaching me how to, then why am I even going to, go do this part time?
Right.
So I went full
So
time right away.
you went full time. That's good, man.
Yep.
And that's what
Yep.
that's what entrepreneurs are: risk takers, right? Believing in yourself,
Exactly.
knowing that there's a possibility of failure, but that's just life. And that's awesome, man. So you went full time, made this a full pledged like business. And how many years have you been doing this, or how long have you been doing it?
So 3 years now. So I've been 3 years as a
Nice.
full time entrepreneur, business owner.
That's awesome, man. I actually, obviously I follow you. You're a good friend of mine, and one of your posts I saw, you know, with less than 2 hours of work, the other day, you made almost 10 grand, right?
Yeah,
That's the beauty of being your own boss, having your own business, being an entrepreneur, is that financially it's limitless. There's you'll get what you put in, and obviously with the things that you're doing, you're also helping others, not only making money for yourself and your family, building generational wealth, but you're helping others, with
exactly.
with building wealth as well. And not a lot of people actually understand how you can leverage like life insurance, right? And
Yep.
for our viewers that actually don't know that, could you give us like a quick like overview on what it can do for somebody?
Yeah, absolutely, right. And yeah, just like you said, it's really misunderstood, right? There's a lot of stuff
Hmm.
out there, of course, with I mean, just about anything, right? Always be
Yeah.
skeptical, but like you and I like to say, be skeptical, but also be open, right? You
Hmm.
got to be willing to
Absolutely.
learn these things that are out there. It's no coincidence, and that so many of like the really wealthy, high net worth people in banks have permanent life insurance. Okay,
Yeah.
so the traditional simple life insurance aside, right? So the part that really comes in with generational wealth building, of course, comes with the education first. But when it comes to life insurance, permanent life insurance, right? I'm gonna trying to think about how to really simplify this without us being on here for 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
But it's basically you're getting with a specialist in the industry, such as myself, right, who is actually properly trained to number
Yeah.
one, not educate you, okay, on how it works, right? Not only of course the benefits of a permanent life insurance policy, right, but the cash
Yeah.
value side of that policy, where you're not just going for the benefit, right? You're actually building a store of cash, right,
Yeah.
that you're gonna have to be able to utilize to not only, of course, accumulate just like you would in any savings or a retirement account, accumulate the cash, but then leverage that cash value via a policy loan so that you can then
Mm.
use that. You can use it for whatever you want, but my teaching is always use it for assets that you're going to be able to have and then cash flow from. Now,
Got.
the what's now a lot of people say, well, why wouldn't I just put that money into a high yield savings account or um, or your IRA, right?
Roth
So
IRA.
the,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. All right. So there's four things. Okay, four things you want to look at when it comes down to a financial vehicle. One is liquidity. Okay, how
Hmm.
easily can you access that money from wherever it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Two is going to be safety of that money. Right? Is it going to go up and down? Right? Stay the same? Is it going to are you going to lose money? Are you going to be able to lose the money on it? Right? And then
Yeah.
three is, are you going to get a rate of return? Okay, is your money going to grow, right? And that usually is always tied to safety. Okay? And then
Right.
four, are you going to have tax advantages, right? The tax free aspect of it, more importantly, okay? It's called the laser
Mm.
test, right? So that when you look at all these financial vehicles, the only one that really passes that test is a cash value life insurance policy, right?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
because when you borrow that money, it still has earning potential, right, based on that balance before you borrowed from it. So now, if you have a whatever percentage, maybe like let's just say on average 5%, right? And let's just take
Yeah.
my personal example. Okay, um, I took a loan out recently for my life insurance policy. Okay,
Yeah.
at a 4.6% annual interest rate. Okay, and I put that into an asset, right, such as real estate that's going to earn me, right, a short-term rental, okay, that's going to earn
Yeah.
me far more uh, annually or even monthly
Yeah.
than that interest rate I'm going to be paying on that cash, right?
Right.
So
Smart.
exactly, right? So that's how you kind of do, money arbitrage, basically, like flip your money, right? So now I
And
got a
can you
cash flowing
borrow like
asset. Hmm.
yeah, that's pretty amazing. Can you borrow against it? Like let's say somebody just worked with you for less than a year. Can you already borrow against it? Or is
Yep.
there like a window that you have to wait?
No, you can borrow against it pretty much right away. But again, the important thing is working with somebody, an agent that's knowledgeable, a specialist in
Yeah.
it, that's going to actually structure the policy for you in the right way, right? Because it's all about policy structure and policy funding, right? Are you going to be able to access
Oh,
it if you're, all about the structure that agent does for you, okay? Right, so
yeah.
that you can access it right away. But the second thing is, well, how much do you put in it, right? If you put a
Got
thousand
it.
dollars
Got
in
it.
there, it might not be worth it to even borrow from it. Like, okay, right. So a lot of the times when you're, planning to borrow from it right away, okay, it is going to be more of a high amount of money that you're putting in into the policy
Got
right
it.
then
Got
and
it.
there. Okay, so yeah, because like I tell anybody, like, okay, you put $100, $1,000, right? It might not be really worth it for you to even, like, why are you gonna borrow 2 grand from it right
Hmm.
away? Okay, what are you gonna do that
Yeah.
with that?
So personal question for me. So I have, as you already know, survivor benefits plan (SVP). I pay in around $185 a month. I also have, I actually opt into doing term life insurance instead of permanent, but that was because of me uneducated at the time. And I'm also doing Roth IRA, so I'm putting in about I think maximum I can do is like 6 grand a year.
Hmm.
So I'm doing I think 500 or something like that. Can I like convert that? Do you see like obviously you have some understanding of like those, but is do you get a better return if I was to go through that route that you're doing or you're suggesting instead of Roth IRA and doing my term life insurance and obviously SVP and all that stuff?
Yeah. Um, for that, it's just really, I wouldn't necessarily say better. I mean, potentially, yeah,
Hmm.
right? We can't always say it's
Yeah,
gonna be better, right? That's also why I always tell people when it comes to these different financial vehicles, I do encourage diversification, right? So with you having
gotcha.
a
Yeah,
Roth IRA, I wouldn't tell you take it out of that Roth IRA and then start putting that money into a cash value life
put
insurance
in.
policy. I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't tell
Mm,
you that. I might tell you, yeah. I mean, maybe reduce the amount you're putting in there, right? If you can, if you choose to, and then really start putting it into that permanent policy, right?
I see.
But it's all about diversification, right? As much as somebody can do, right? Going from one to the next and starting and then just expanding, right?
Right, right.
You can't just have a 401k or an IRA.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that's all you can do, then sure. But if you can, definitely diversify. And having a permanent cash value life insurance policy is a key financial vehicle for you to have, for you and your family.
That's good to know. And as you mentioned, you borrowed money from it and invested it into real estate, which in turn can give you some cash flow as well. So that's how I see a lot of tremendous value in doing this. So that's pretty amazing. Um, with that being said, like you mentioned, a lot of people are skeptical, right? Is it because they don't know what they don't know and just uneducation? I mean, uneducated about it?
Yeah,
Is
that's
it mostly
exactly it.
that like the challenge? Yeah, got it.
Yeah, people,
And,
like you said, you don't know what you don't know, right? Until
yeah,
your identity or whatever, you're open enough to really take in something new and be willing to learn. Yeah, I'm always open
gotcha.
to different things, and with innovations, technology, and all the different things coming up for people to make money, right? And I think
Mm-hmm.
right now there's just so much more that I'm seeing, so many more people, even influencers, right? Like ET, the hip hop preacher, right? Eric Thomas. I'm even seeing him talk about and preach more about cash value life insurance and infinite banking concept. Okay.
I
And
see.
right now, like, I see a big rise in that sort of stuff, right? Because I think more people
Yeah.
are even getting more educated, and I'm sure you've even seen the one where I've posted about it too, where Waka Flocka talks about how he got educated and learned about utilizing a life insurance policy and
Yeah.
putting money in it and using that money to then go make more money. All right, so
Right.
people are skeptical because of course there's people out there, the Dave Ramsey fans, the ones that listen to him, right? And nothing really against him. Dave Ramsey is a good guy to listen to when it comes down to your finances and getting out of debt and all that stuff. But he's not going to
Right.
be the best guy to go to when it comes to learning about these high level financial strategies to really build wealth. Because you think about it, well,
Right.
if this was good enough for a generationally wealthy family like the Rockefeller family, right?
Right.
Well, why shouldn't you or I or any other average Joe learn about how that is done, how to create that kind of wealth, okay, for generations and
Right.
generations?
You mentioned Rockefeller family, like is there like a resemblance of how they built their wealth with what your business is in?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Right, because so a big part of it, of course, is their, again, educating their next in line,
Yeah.
right? Getting them, because so I learned about this. One of the major influencers in my journey in my education with it is Garrett Gunderson, right? And reading
Hmm.
Killing Sacred Cows, and as well as what what was formerly called What Would the Rockefellers Do, okay? And then Becoming Your Own Banker by Nelson Nash, which he references a lot too, okay? So yeah, 100% the Rockefeller family, right? What I do in my business, okay, I help
Yeah.
try and lead people towards that kind of system, where you've got the family trust in place, right? Promote educating yourself and your kids and then later down the line your kids' kids, right?
Yeah.
On money, on finances, on what this life insurance policy can do and how to maintain it, and everything else you've got, right? Um, Again, diversification, businesses, real estate, gold, commodities, all this stuff, right? Different asset classes, and with cryptocurrency coming into the mix, right? Even that
Hmm.
stuff, um, and then just continuing that, right? How do you use all that, put it all together, right? It, to avoid taxes and continue building wealth for the family for
Yeah.
generations to come.
And I know you dabble into crypto as well, right? Um,
Yeah.
could you tell us, yeah, tell us how you got started in that?
Um, let's see how I got started. It was just out of curiosity, man. I
Hmm.
mean, I early but still late at the same time, because I mean, you've seen how Bitcoin just shot up, right?
Yeah,
Um,
crazy.
yeah. So just like I mentioned, I'm always open. I'm always looking at, well, the different things within the financial ecosystems, right? So going
Yeah.
from banking system, savings, credit cards, and insurance, retirement plans, and then of course this thing called cryptocurrency coming into the mix, right? Which
Yeah.
people keep seeming to say that it's a scam, it's money laundering, all this stuff, but it looks like it's here to stay, man. It's here to stay. So
Yeah.
um, just really out of curiosity, I heard about Bitcoin, started trying to learn about it, um, and all the things that blockchain technology is doing. So started diving. I'm not, by no means am I an expert, all right,
Hmm.
but started dabbling into it and kind of seeing where the value lies in it. Gave the
Yeah.
the store value, um, and investing into myself and different platforms that are
No, that's cool.
into it as well.
No, that's cool, man. I told you my story about Bitcoin from years ago,
Yeah.
right? Like how I
Yep.
was essentially like given or purchased it that I didn't really know like years ago. Um, I believe it's around 2010 from what I remember. But always
Yeah. Early.
every time somebody talks to me about it, it was, like at that time I think 09, 2010, it wasn't really a big deal, you know. It was
No.
penny to the dollar, I believe, and so it's like. this is probably just a scam or whatever. So yeah, but I didn't think nothing of it until like as it got bigger and bigger. But it is what it is.
Yeah,
It always
yeah,
sucks every time I think about it. I could that was a life changer if I really just hopped onto it. But I was so tunnel vision. Well, when I was in the Navy, and I didn't really care about nothing else. Obviously, just
yep,
our mission, as you already know. I wasn't smart enough to educate myself outside of what we were doing in the Navy in our operations. But yeah, I do dabble in it, but I don't know. Enough to put in a lot more money. So I do invest in growth stocks. I understand that. Made a lot of money in the last 3 years. But yeah, crypto is definitely the next best thing. I think it is not going to go anywhere. So
yeah.
for myself and everybody else, I think we should definitely educate ourselves in investing in there. But I did hop onto the Dogecoin thing too, but that
Oh
hasn't gone
man,
nowhere. But
speaking of,
yeah,
your Bitcoin story, right? Which did
yeah.
we're gonna have to find that, right? But yeah, same thing with Dogecoin with me, man. I got on it 2018. That was when I kind of started dabbling into
Oh, yeah.
investing more, and I saw that my brother-in-law mentioned it, so I was like, okay, I bought some. They had, I don't remember how many zeros there, right? So I got like $100 worth. And then later in
Wow.
2019, I was just like, you know what? I don't think this is going to go anywhere. So I just sold it because I could put this $100 towards something else, right? And I
Oh
sold
yeah.
it, and the next thing you know, boom! I was like, man, that $100 could have at least
The-
been 10 grand, 100 grand. I don't know what it was, right? But geez,
yeah. I mean, Dogecoin went up all the way to like I think was it 50 cents or 75 cents? I don't even remember.
I think 75, man, close to a dollar. So,
And then
let's see.
yeah, I don't
Hopefully, it
know.
still does.
I mean, one thing I learned is like I'll just track it and leave it there. Actually, not consistently track it, but I don't know. Right now, I have about 7,000 something shares. And we'll see. We'll see what
Yeah,
happens, and if
we'll
it
see.
does, cryptocurrency just keeps going, and that's kind of the future. And I'm pretty sure that Dogecoin is one of those that's going to go up in value as well. And if it does, and when it does, I'm just that's extra money in the future for my
Yeah,
for my kids and grandkids. But you mentioned earlier, you wanted to learn from others who's in the business in that industry that you're in now, from other successful, high 6 figure, 7 figure earners, right? So it's definitely all about mentorship and all that stuff. But what are your thoughts about um, hiring a business coach?
yeah. Business coach, man, a coach and mentor. Like I say in a lot of my videos, into people that want to get into entrepreneurship, right? It's key,
Yeah,
man. It's truly key because how else are you going to get to whatever your goal is, right, as fast as possible? Okay,
right.
because you got to have somebody that's gonna, one has been there, right? that
Absolutely.
that has
Yeah.
achieved what you want to achieve, right? Whether that's, hey, I want to build a business, right? Or I want to hold up. Wait, you still there?
Oh no, no, yeah, I see you. It's
Okay.
sometimes the system is gonna do its thing, but you're fine. You're perfectly fine. Once
All right.
this gets uploaded, it'll be clean.
All right. Cool. Cool. All right. So yeah. So you want to have a coach and mentor that's already been where you want to be. All right. Whether that's
Right.
owning, running, and having a successful business, having a bunch of real estate, having a financial service business, making whatever dollar amount. Okay, they got to
Yeah.
have been there, right? You can't just go off the street
Right.
and get coached and mentored by the
Just
guy that can preach, right?
yeah.
Can teach, but doesn't has never actually done
Right.
it, right? Those
Done
fake
it.
it till you make it
Yes.
guys, right?
Oh
Okay,
heck
did they
no,
actually have
man.
they actually done it, right?
The
Those fake
worst.
gurus.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
it's the worst, bro. But
you know,
yeah.
uh, two, they gotta have they gotta still be in the game, right? In some
Right.
form, some way, right?
Right.
Those who can't teach, and those who can actually do, right? There,
Right.
I'm thankful to have been mentored and be mentored by people who 100% can just sit back and not do anything, right? People like
Yeah.
Patrick, but David does not have to
Right.
be in the business anymore. He doesn't have to do
No.
anything. Coach, mentor us, like the dude's done. He
Yeah.
can be, but he's got more
Right.
purpose. Okay, more people to grow,
Right.
right? More people to help build. Okay, so they got to be in there with you, right? And then a third thing is that, well, they got to be a servant leader. Okay, they got to be somebody
Right.
who is there in your best interest. Okay, um,
Facts.
just got to be there for you. So yeah, 100% recommend a mentor and
And
a business coach.
and and that's why you personally, I know I got you initially. I remember when I got you and when I invited you into WealthCon, you definitely saw the value, the culture, the environment that we're in, and you spent thousands of dollars. I'm not gonna name the price that you paid, but you paid a significant amount to be mentored by Ryan Pineda and the team. And personally, it's worth it because I was a student for a year. I learned tremendous amount in real estate investing, which I've definitely gotten my ROI back times 10x already. So and you saw the value in that, and that's you're speaking, you're walking. And what's that term? You talk the talk, you walk the
Yeah,
walk, and
walk the
you
walk. Yep.
you definitely invested. Yeah, you definitely invested in Ryan Pineda's mentorship program, and you saw the value, and I definitely experienced it already. So I'm sure you're already learning a ton, opening up your network even more now
Yep.
that you're part of the wealthy investor community. So that's pretty cool, man. But what is your plan in real estate investing? Are you planning on doing like short term rentals, and are you just focusing in the Phoenix, Scottsdale, Mesa, Arizona area, or what are your goals and future plans?
Yeah. So my focus right now when it comes to real estate is, right, yeah, the short term, midterm rentals, right? That game, because
Got
I
it.
mean that's where you're really getting some ROI, right? And
Yeah.
it's all about, again, when it comes to any of these assets and what you're doing, it's all about running the numbers, right? Where you're getting your ROI from.
Right.
Okay, what strategy is going to be best, right? And what can you allot time to, and how can you leverage into it as well. So
Yeah.
definitely short term, midterm rentals is key there. Okay, and
Nice.
utilizing the strategies we learn again from people who
Hmm.
who know how to do it.
Yeah.
Again,
That's
man,
been
it's
there. That's
the
still in the trenches.
yeah, the
Yeah.
finance world, man. It, there's so many different things you can do, right? So many different things you can do, and it's just like, man, you just got to be able to open that door and walk in and freaking open your mind and to learning and then applying, right?
Yeah. And I
But yeah,
love
definitely
that. I
that
love
route.
that about you. I love that about you, Tobin, because you're applying everything that you're teaching others into yourself. And that's the best mentor to me, you know?
Yeah,
Like you're giving advice and pointers and you're actually doing it with them. Um and that's pretty cool, man. That's so awesome. And you mentioned like somebody in that industry in the industry, the community you're with PB Patrick Bet David PBD. um can someone make seven figures doing that in 1 year?
doing financial services in 1 year.
Financial services, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like absolutely. Being, I wouldn't say like
Gotcha.
necessarily within in a year, right? If that's what you
Right.
meant, right? Because I mean,
No,
you
it
can't,
takes
that can't
time
happen.
to learn.
Take a
Yeah.
lot of hustle and bustle, man. Like I tell people, like that's of course you've got to be extraordinary and just freaking massively driven to make seven figures in
Yeah.
a year. Right? Is it
Well,
possible? Hundred
and even
percent.
even in the high, even in the high, six figures, I feel like if if you learn the way to like utilize resources and different tools, software, things like that, it could certainly help you out.
Yeah,
As you know, I'm a business advisor and a coach with 10x, so I'm learning a lot of different ways, sales tactics, marketing, and leveraging different tools and resources could get you towards the seven-figure mark.
yeah,
Um, and I, personally, I know I don't know your industry specifically, but I know what potential it has, and with the right systems, tools, and resources, you could definitely get there. You know,
absolutely.
and
Yeah, seven
and
figures. You're gonna be able to get there.
yeah,
Yep.
no, that's
And
pretty cool.
it's
Can you go ahead? Sorry.
no, yeah. So yeah, back to that point, right? There's the mentors I have making seven figures a
Yeah,
year, right? And it's or more actually, right? There's
yeah.
people in the industry that are making seven figures in a month. Okay, so
Wow.
it's insane, man, when you get to those kinds of levels, right? And it's just all about the. It's like I was saying, right? Is it possible? Yeah. Is it easy? No, right? There's a certain level of
Right.
difficulty, right? What you put
Right.
in is what you get. So
100%.
putting out work over time, and it just compounds, right? And you've
Right.
heard it before, right? And I'm sure you've read the compounding effect as well. I heard about it,
Yeah.
but they always say like your first, maybe your first 100,000 is always the hardest, right?
Yeah.
And then from there it just gets easy, right? And then once you
You,
hit a million, right, you might think your first million is hard, and from there it's like boom, boom, 2 million, 3 million, 10,
right. Right. And
right?
yeah, it's amazing once you learn that, like how how to leverage, how to multiply money, how to leverage that, and how you can get to the seven figures and above. A lot of the times people, are small thinkers. Most of the time I was as well. I never thought I
Yep.
would, be making high six figures or get into the seven figures. But as you know, once you learn and once you get there, it's actually not that difficult. There is gonna be work that needs to be done, obviously, some sacrifices, but a lot of people could actually do it, knowing what I know now. There's so many different
Yeah.
industries, businesses where that it could get you to seven figures. And obviously you can't do it by yourself. That's one of the key things. You
Hmm.
have to have the right mentors, coaches around you to help you, hold you accountable, teach you the right things. And then you also have to have the right team that's going to help you scale the business and your brand. And yeah, definitely, man. I certainly believe that. And for you, obviously, I know you have a big vision, man. But do you have any other aspirations or goals? I know your why, obviously, is going to be your family, your kids. But do you have any other aspirations in the business world, in entrepreneurship, that is in your like vision board, or in your plans?
Yeah, like you mean like outside of financial services, right?
Yeah, yeah.
um Dude, so much, right? So much. Just like I mentioned,
Yeah.
before, right? I'm like a health and fitness guy too. That's still in my
Yeah,
background. It's
yeah.
still in my heart and my passion, and I want to
Nice.
be able to help people with, even especially for myself who's had like these injuries and stuff. So
Right.
I want to be able to have things like run my own gym, right? Have a gym. There's
Wow,
multiple
yeah.
businesses like a gym, as well as a health clinic. And that's more about natural healing, right? And medicine,
Oh, man.
like
Yeah.
like that'll incorporate massage, physical therapy, chiropractic, that sort of stuff. Okay,
Gotcha.
and of course, just being able to
Oh,
teach
that's
teach people, man, and coach people.
that's awesome, man. I know you're a servant leader just like I am. And Gary Brecker, right? The guy that helped build 10x Health with Grant Cardone, and my other business
Hmm.
mentor, Brendan Dawson. Um, that's actually in my vision in the future to uh, be a franchise owner in that as well. I don't know if you've had a chance to look into it, but definitely look into 10x Health, and then Gary Brecka. He is a
Yeah.
lean machine, and reminds me a lot about in your fitness space, nutrition space, and the type of knowledge that he has on there. But yeah, I think it's about 60, 65 years old, and he is in better shape than most people,
A
and
lot of people.
definitely better shape than I am. Yeah, but uh, but yeah, man. Well, very cool, bro. We're hitting to the 40 minute mark, and I typically have this conversation around 45 minutes or so. I got two other questions for you. Do you have any favorite book that you'd like to share to us, and why is it your favorite book?
Favorite book. I would say my favorite book right now is Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, right, by T. Harv Eker.
Mm,
Right. I don't know if you've read
okay,
that one, but that's
I
just
haven't.
the secrets to the power of your mind to be able to again just have a mindset of abundance, right, and to be able to go
Yeah,
get become a millionaire, basically, right?
yeah,
How do the millionaires think and
yeah.
strategize to achieve that millionaire status? Okay, that's one of my top books that you just got to read at least once a year, every now and then. Right, get back to it.
Wow, yeah.
Okay.
Nice, nice. Very, very cool, man. Um, and second question, actually not my last question. Second question, uh, who are the people that you look up to right now? As far as I know, PBD is one of probably going to be your top one, but any other well known others that you look up to as a mentor?
Yeah, just like you mentioned, Patrick David, um, Matt Sapala, money smart guy, Matt Sapala. Shout
Mm.
out to money smart guy. Okay, and a big one
Nice,
with that
nice.
is because of course he's also Filipino and military veteran, right? And just what he's been
Yeah,
able to achieve in the industry, right?
you
And
have to connect me to him.
yeah, absolutely, man. All right.
Yeah,
Shoot, and I don't know, man. So many more, right?
nice.
Alex Armozia is of course on
Yeah.
that list. All right, and what he's done,
Oh, of course.
amazing strategies, man.
It's did you participate in his like the 100 million
Uh,
leads challenge?
no, man.
Did you look into that?
No, not yet. I didn't get to. I was signed up for the webinar, and I missed it.
Right. Oh,
But
yeah,
yeah,
well, it's on YouTube. It was pretty cool actually, and like the climax is like, is he going to sell something? And people would have paid thousands of dollars
yeah,
to learn by his course, but essentially at the end of it, you can look him up in his channel actually, and he basically gave it all away for free
yeah.
to
I saw that,
everybody. The training.
and that's
I haven't
exactly,
I
man.
haven't looked into it. I do have access to the training, and that's something I'm gonna have to watch and learn from. But that's cool,
Likewise.
man. Alex Hermosi is somebody I look up to, and actually I met him and Layla Hermosi at the last year, my very first WealthCon event. They were the guest speakers there, and they didn't even charge Ryan Pineda anything to give some tips and be in front of
Yeah.
on the stage and teach the people at WealthCon. But yeah, man, very cool. Last question that I have for you, Tobin. I know your time is very valuable. What would you advise aspiring entrepreneurs out there if they're looking into, getting into your own business, your industry, or just in general, just if they want to get into entrepreneurship and leave their W-2 job?
Tips on getting into entrepreneurship. Um, Definitely, you're gonna have to one, of course, consider. For one, you've got to dive into it, right? I'm sure a lot of people have heard it.
Right.
You can't. You got to be able. You got to take the time to build your dreams on the side, right? You may have even if you have a nine to
Yeah.
five, right? You got to build your dreams, build your own dreams during your 6 to 8. Yeah, right. You got to take that leap. All right. And then the
Yeah.
next thing from there would be, well, evaluate, you got to have some risk management and evaluate, well, can you take the risk and go full time? Or have the goal of
Mm.
when I hit this in my business on the side, then I'm going to go full time, right? When I hit this in my savings, right, I'm going to go full
Yeah.
time, right, and leave the 9 to 5. And of course, you've got to just have consistency, man. You got to have consistency. You always got to remember why you're doing it. right? And be consistent day in and day out. Um, and when you're consistent, just like you mentioned earlier, things are going to compound for you, right? Things are going to
Yeah,
compound for you. And as you do that, um, you're just going to get where you want to go, right? In your business and in life.
that's awesome. Yeah. That's cool, bro. Well, thanks for your time, Tobin. Again, you spit out some really good nuggets on this episode, man, and especially like leveraging, life insurance. And obviously, you and I are connected in many social media platforms. But it's your name or your handle, Tobin Short, pretty much Tobin.short, and Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or LinkedIn. Is it
Yeah.
all the same across the board?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, tobinshort.finance. Okay. And then, yeah, across the board, pretty much you'll be able to find me just searching Tobin Short or as well as Heroes Financial Group as well on
Very cool.
LinkedIn, Meta, TikTok, and Instagram.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for your time, Tobin. I consider you as a good friend, man, and as a fellow Navy veteran, I definitely wish you continued success, bro, and many more blessings for you and your family. And I definitely am looking forward to growing and scaling with you, brother. And if there's anything that I can do to help in your business, bro, you got me one phone call away, man.
100%, man. Likewise. Appreciate the time, brother.
Yes, sir. All right, bro. Well, you guys seen the episode. You guys have heard everything that we talked about. If you found this valuable, if you found this very interesting, definitely please like, subscribe, and follow me for more episodes like this where I highlight other entrepreneurs and their industries in the business that they're in, and hopefully inspire you guys to do the same thing. Other than that, this is Real Talks Podcast with Jay Real. Until then, peace out.